Thanks, Derek. It is a Mental Health Monday. Dr. Sabrina is here as always. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
Not taking the holiday week off.
No.
We're glad.
We're working.
We are continuing our conversation about negative self-talk. This is something that you started last week about this conversation that you're having in your head and the impact that has on you, because it can be quite significant, right? What you're saying to your own brain.
Ooh, what we're saying to ourselves can be crazy. And so one of the things I want to talk about today is just the whole thing of self-defeating attitudes and behaviors. And so it's the attitudes that we have and the behaviors that we do that can be self-defeating. Negative self-talk is definitely high on the list. But if we dive a little deeper, comparing ourselves to others is huge, especially with social media. Social media has made us not social, first of all.
That's true.
Second of all, we look at what other people are doing and then it makes us feel some type of way. We don't like the way we look because we don't look like Megan Thee Stallion, who was absolutely naked last night on the BET Awards. She was naked.
We got to cue that up, Dr. Sabrina.
Oh, she was naked.
Okay.
And then overly sensitive to feedback, because how do we get better if no one can tell us anything? We have to be able to take feedback gracefully and not take it personally. And so the next thing,
and calling it feedback helps, because we're really talking about some constructive criticism, right?
Absolutely, but
okay.
I think that the word feedback is just somebody looking at what's going on with you and giving you some tips and pointers on how to do it better.
Okay.
And it's one thing for it to be somebody's opinion, like, I don't like your hair. Okay, you don't have to like my hair, but that has nothing to do with the quality of what I do, the quality of the way I do what I do, and it's just how I look. And so you have to be able to separate what is said from who is saying it and the intention behind them saying it. But coachability is the #1 reason why people fail, because if you can't take feedback,
right,
how do you get better?
Absolutely.
And then when we take things personally, you know, there's a wonderful book called The 4 Agreements. The 4 Agreements simply says one of the things is to never take anything personally, because even when someone does something directly to you, it has way more to do with what's going on inside of them than what's going on inside of you. Because if they're mean is coming out of them. So it doesn't mean that you're mean.
Right.
So you have to be able to leave that where it is and really look at yourself and say, this is not, don't have anything to do with me. And a lot of times we make things about us that's really not us.
Often, almost always, right?
Yeah,
unless we have some training on how not to do it.
And most people don't get training on how not to do it. And then that last one is never asking for help. That is so huge, because, you know, we have all this stigma attached to going to get counseling or going to get help. Or even when it's time to go to the doctor, sometimes we don't go because we don't want to know if we have something a little off, if we feel a little different. The only way we can get help is to go and get help. And so what I've learned is that people who are givers, people who are first responders, people who are the police, the fire departments, nurses, doctors, they don't ask for help.
Well, because they're rescuing everybody else.
They're rescuing everybody else. But let me say this, we were created to be interdependent, not independent. We need people.
That's good. That's good stuff, Dr. Sabrina. It's a lot to think about and a lot to, because comparison is the thief of joy. Is that what they say?
Yes, yes,
so just starting from that point, when you log on to your social media, whatever it is, and you start looking at these family vacations or these smiling, beautiful faces,
or these
cute
brand
outfits,
new cars,
new stuff. That's a whole other segment that you can coach us on how to look at that and be happy for other people. And not think, why not me?
Why not me? And then, because at the end of the day, we really need to spend more time being grateful for what we do have.
Right.
Because what you concentrate on is what grows. So if you are thinking, oh, woe is me, oh, I don't have this, instead of saying what you do have.
Right.
Ooh,
and how can I make my life better?
Absolutely.
Dr. Sabrina, thank you.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you. Coming up in our next hour, Dr. Sabrina will stick around and answer your questions live. You can send them on X, formerly known as Twitter, using hashtag #AskDrSabrina, or you can just use hashtag #the9 too, if that's already in your system. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.